Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Fit and Flourishing podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about your emotional triggers that cause you to eat and how to combat them. Before I get started today, I want to say a couple of important things. Number one, you are super brave for even listening to this podcast. I think it requires a level of self-awareness that says, you know what? I have a problem and I need to fix it. So congratulations to you for identifying that there is a problem and you need to fix it. Number two, I am not a licensed psychiatrist, psychologist, or eating disorder specialist. I'm simply sharing my own thoughts and my own process from struggling with this and trying to offer you some solutions. So please, 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 if you're in a place where this is really haunting you and causing disruption in your life, please go see a specialist. In the meantime, you can listen to this podcast and implement the strategies that I've given you here to support your emotional eating. All right, let's get into the triggers and then we'll talk about how to rectify them. Number one, a lot of people eat because they're bored. And actually, a lot of the moms that I talk to and a lot of the moms who are my clients will tell me this. I just realize I'm eating because it just gives me something to do. It gives my mouth something to do. And I totally understand that. Since I have stopped working as a teacher and have been working more from home, I've noticed too that I'm more likely to go reach in the cabinet for something or, just munch on things all day. And yes, that can be boredom. And it gives your body and brain something to do. And that is actually 50% of the reason why a lot of people eat is because they're feeling bored. So how do we fix this? Number one, fill your life with hobbies. Make sure you have things to do outside of sitting at home. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to fill every hour and every second of your day with an activity, but it means if you have a ton of free time, idle hands are the devil's playground. And in this case, idle hands are the emotional eater's playground. If you have nothing to do, you'll tend to think about food because you're bored and that's sort of like your default mindset. So one thing that was told to me a really long time ago was to make sure that I did all of like my household chores before I thought about eating. Let me rephrase that in a way that makes more sense. If I had already had a meal and like an hour later, I'm like, ooh, I think I want to eat again. And clearly I'm not hungry, which requires a little bit of self-reflection. When someone said to me, why don't you like clean out your purse, sweep the bathroom floor, organize your refrigerator, organize the back of your car, go do things that need to be done and give your hand and your mind something to do. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant advice because yes, a lot of times we're eating instead of doing the things that we actually should be doing. So yeah, like going and organizing things in your home or throwing out old clothes. So have a checklist of things that you'd like to do instead of eat. Have a list of things that actually need to be done around your house that can be in place of you being bored. If you're a believer, baby, if you're bored, you need to go open up that Bible and read your Bible instead of eating. All right, number two, people eat because they're lonely. And I can totally understand this. I think especially like when in my single days and with the single woman that I'm talking to, you get home from a long day of work, you're exacerbated. You're exhausted, not exacerbated. You're absolutely exhausted. You are just like, done with your day, and then you sit down and there's no one really to talk to, and your friends are married and they have children and all this other stuff. And yes, you can feel very, very lonely. And this actually ties into boredom quite a bit. And so again, what I recommend, and this was good for me too, is that I scheduled meetups with friends and hikes with friends and productive things to do with friends. I also scheduled classes. So when I was feeling lonely, I started going to CrossFit classes. I don't love CrossFit. It's not like but it was great to have community. So find some community. Now they absolutely will not replace like a partner or a husband or anything like that. But what they can do is they can help you fill that a lot of that emotional hunger that you might be feeling when you're lonely. So even now, I schedule I schedule weekly meetups with friends. I schedule Bible studies. I schedule, just have something on your calendar to look forward to, and where you're in contact with actual human beings. It can be extremely lonely if you work from home. It can be extremely lonely if you don't have family nearby. And so setting up something for to meet up with people and have human contact is going to be really, really important. And that way your heart and your mind and your soul are filled, and you don't turn to food for that feeling. All right, number 3 is stress. Oh my gosh, stress eating, oh my gosh, is a huge one. And listen, as someone who used to work 12, 14, 16 hours a day and then come home and just want to go knee deep into a bag of chips, I can tell you that this is by far one of the more difficult things to fix. Here's what I used to do. I had to get really honest about the strategies that I was using for stress reduction. Okay, number 1, I need you to learn to breathe. What does this mean? This means that you are learning how to do some deep, deep breathing to bring down your heart rate, to bring down your nervous system. Walking. Whenever you feel stressed, go for a walk outside if possible. If you can't go for a walk outside, do a walking workout online. This redirects that stress and gets it out of your body. Because when you eat because you're stressed, what you're trying to do is bring down that feeling. But really what it does is it doesn't actually make the stress escape your body. It actually just stuffs it in there for longer. And then we have all these issues with autoimmunity because we haven't released the pressure of the day. So come up with some strategies, whether that's journaling, venting is okay. Have a person where you say, hey, I'm going to call you for 15 minutes. Don't let me vent for more than 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I need to have a solution, but I'm going to vent for 15 minutes and then I'm done. Journaling, venting, walking, exercise, breathing, going to the gym. Those are all ways to relieve stress. And when you relieve stress, you don't have this need to stuff it down because it's out of your body. And I'm going to give you guys a little bonus. A lot of us were raised to believe that feelings were negative, whether they were positive or negative. We were raised that they were a bad thing. And because we were raised that they're a bad thing, we think that we can't handle them. So we believe that if we feel stress, it must be quelled immediately. It must be taken away immediately because it's too much for us to handle. But here's the thing, you guys, you can handle it. You can handle stress. You can handle it. In fact, if you just sat with it for 1 minute, it would dissipate. But a lot of us, as soon as we start to feel stress, we feel this anxiety that it must go away. And again, that comes from believing that we are incapable of handling life stressors. So I'm going to challenge you that when you feel stressful to say, you know what? I'm going to sit with this emotion for 30 seconds. And then if I need to act on it, I will. And here's what happens. 99% of the time, the emotion feels far less intense within a minute. And you go, okay, it's not that bad. One of the other things I recommend is if you are stressed about something, you have 2 options. You can come up with solutions or you can ignore it. The thing is like, if you cannot have a solution for it or it's something that you cannot control, what is the point of stressing, right? What does that scripture say? That who by worrying has added another day to their life? Nobody has added a day to their life by worrying. So if you cannot fix the problem that you're stressing about, like there's no physical solution that includes you, drop it by the wayside. Give it to the Lord, write it out, and release it because it's doing more harm than good. Okay, number 4, people who are frustrated. I'm going to say angry because a lot of people will not realize that they're eating out of anger. And this is a big one. You're frustrated because someone's not hearing you at work, or you're being bullied at work, or you can't get the job that you want, or the scale is not moving the way that you want it to. So you eat instead. You say, who cares? What am I doing with this? You eat anyway. That is a big one for a lot of people. So if you're frustrated, the answer to that is patience. Patience. You have to build your patience. And this is where having good mindset training comes in because number 1, let's just talk about frustration with work. or let's say frustration with trying to find a job. Understanding that when the right opportunity is meant for you, you will have it is very, very important. So instead of eating because you're not getting the job right away, you say, you know what? Thank God that I'm not taking the wrong job, and then I'll be in this situation 6 months from now because it was never meant for me and I shouldn't have been doing this. Do you see what I'm saying? For fat loss, okay, you're mad because you didn't lose 6 pounds in a month. Well, are you consistent with working out? Because remember, working out is about health. It's not about necessarily losing weight. Are you working out consistently? Do you have better sleep? These are real questions that you should be asking yourself instead of saying, well, I didn't see the results that I wanted now, so I'm going to throw myself back into, a binge eating because I'm not seeing what I want, and self-sabotaging. Mindset is super, super important for when you're frustrated, because a lot of times we're frustrated because we don't have the right perspective on what's happening. We don't have the right perspective. We think that something should be happening sooner than it should, and we need to check ourselves and say, you know what? I was wrong about this. And last but not least, a lot of people eat when they're happy, when there's a good event happening. And listen, you guys, hey, everybody knows that, when it's time for a celebration, families get together and they eat. Even my family, like my sister was in town and we went to a restaurant. My other sister came back from Korea. We went to a restaurant. We're going to go, we're having our anniversary. We're going to go to a restaurant. So eating is natural part of celebration. But a lot of times people will say, well, I lost 5 pounds. I'm going to reward myself with, a binge. Or I did really well this week, so I'm going to reward myself on the weekends with a huge brunch. And then they negate their entire week. Now, this is not to say that you should never eat anything that's, maybe fun or something off plan. But what I'm saying is be careful about overcompensating for your win with simply food, right? So make sure you have other rewards for yourself that are not food. Like for me, if I sell a certain amount of lesson plans, I'm like, okay, cool. I can buy myself a camera, right? I'm going to buy myself a vlogging camera, or, I'm going to buy myself a pair of shoes. So I have different rewards methods, or I'm going to go get myself a massage, or I'm going to take a day off of work. So I have different rewards so that I'm not using food to cope. All right, you guys, if you are interested more in learning how to reduce your stress eating, I actually have a stress eating course that will be linked in the description box below. It is fantastic. So many people have purchased it. I actually don't know how to take it off of Udemy. It's so inexpensive. It's like $5, and I'm actually really upset because it should be like $100 with the amount of effort and energy I put into that class. But you guys can get it right now. And you can simply just listen to it. What a lot of my clients do is they listen to it over and over and over again because it reminds them of the truths about stress eating. So I'm going to recommend that you pick up that course in the description box below. And please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe on this video. And I will see you guys in the next one.